Good morning. It's like 11 for me, so it's barely morning anymore, but I don't know what else to say. There's not really a phrase that means good noon. Like, what does that even mean? Anyways, title says it all. I'm playing Stanley Parable again. Ultra Deluxe Edition, obviously. I upped my mic and desktop audio, so if one is too loud, if one is louder than the other and you can't hear the other, then I would really appreciate someone saying something in chat, because I don't want to like go through the stream and then find out you can't hear the narrator at all or you can't hear me at all. I wanted to up it overall so that when the video is transported to YouTube, I don't have to turn my volume all the way up so that I can hear the VOD properly. But yeah, playing Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. This time I streamed it the day it came out, but this time I'm going for all the bucket endings, and I have a whole list of all the ones there is. There's pretty much a bucket ending for every ending in the game, almost. So we're gonna be here for a while. Let's jump right in. Awesome, it automatically clung to that. Oh man, my hair is being weird today, but whatever. I'm wearing a cute jumpsuit. Other than that, let's see. I also made a Twitter specifically for stream and art stuff. I'm gonna try to work that out. I also recently took a shower, so my hair's a bit wet. But hopefully it's not gonna mess up my headphones any. And my microphone should be fine, so let's get going. So, a bit of a preamble. I have played this before. I have gotten...
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Most of the endings. Not the bucket endings,
Stanley
though.
worked for a company in a big building where he was
balloons.
employee number 427.
So, obvious spoilers for Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions.
The balloons!
Call a meeting,
they make no sense if you haven't seen the sequel ending.
Never in all his years at the company had this happened.
And I did actually
this
get
complete
the epilogue.
Isolation. Something was very clearly wrong.
I just said no, so it's
Shocked,
not going to give
frozen
me
solid,
a
Stanley found himself unable to move for the
I open
longest
the
time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
I like how fast I can go
All
sometimes.
of his co-workers were gone.
I selected the other
What could
balloon,
it
but they
mean?
gave me this one.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I want to catch that creepy employee that walks around, but...
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
How the mighty have fallen. Another balloon. There's some interesting
Stanley
stuff about...
clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his
Employee
co-workers really all be gone?
I can talk about it later, but my friend gave me some interesting stuff on the lore. I really want to draw employee 432. I'm gonna try to get the out of bounds ending. Just a sec. Awesome.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear. We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self. The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history, of the countless wars it witnessed, desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein, of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
Said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of... No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
Oh, this
As
is a funny
Stanley
narrator
screamed and
voice.
screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power.
Fangs?
Its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true form. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
No, that's quite the first ending to achieve.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked.
I want to see
Stanley
the person.
just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be
That's cute.
perfectly fine with him.
I wonder how long until Stanley expects
Stanley clutched the bucket
Let's start by
tightly
getting
to
all
his
the
chest
left
and
endings.
entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps
closet
his
ending.
boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's
Doesn't
supposed
really
to go
match
with the
with
other
everything
cleaning
else here.
supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your
narration,
bucket. This
the-
is your companion
The stuff in
and
this
lifelong
game is really
friend.
good.
You can't hand it over.
The writing.
Oh, no.
That's what I mean.
We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons. But even this
Especially
is worse
because
than
last
I had
time you just
imagined.
stood in there for a
Wait.
long time.
Now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
that your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together.
Well, I killed the bucket last
Go through each of them
time.
point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket, as they have changed and evolved over the years.
Had sex with the bucket a few times ago. That's what it was implied, at least. That's not a joke I'm making.
Okay,
That's...
I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
That's canon in the game. Property
There.
of Stanley, that's...
Now it's settled.
That's kind of cute.
No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural
Oh,
order
I
of
can't
things.
wait till I see a cosplay of Stanley with a bucket. That would be really cute.
All right, coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I'm glad I can finally enter the executive bathroom with this update. There's another sticker I didn't notice on the bucket. It's a sticker of a bucket. You can only go into this room sometimes. Elevator. Business strategy. Great image.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
I was waiting a little
Was it
bit
the
to
bucket
put
knew
it
all along?
in
Was
because
the
otherwise
bucket
the
guiding
narrator
him?
gets pissy.
Yes.
And he's like,
This is certainly the
oh,
most
he
logical
doesn't want to wait for the story, so let's force him to wait. We're going freedom ending, and then I think countdown ending, and then museum
The
ending.
elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It
And
would be all
then
Stanley could do to keep
presentation
himself
ending.
together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he
I
would
wonder if
be
these
all right.
stickers will be kept on the
The
bucket.
bucket
for the
is
rest
here
of the
for you,
endings.
Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Freedom ending, let's go!
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
Oh, we also have
Facility.
bottom of the mind control facility ending over here.
The lights rose on an enormous
Which one is
room packed with
432's?
television screens. What horrible
see
secret
what's
did this
there.
place
I
hold?
wanna see if there's a
Stanley and
secret.
the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Oh.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley
Employee
nearly dropped the
observation
bucket in
protocol.
shock.
I can't read
Everyone
that.
in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
I always feel like I'm
Had
gonna
the bucket
fall
been
out
told
here,
to do
but
things
I don't
it didn't
think
wish to do?
I can.
What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first
We'll
place?
find more about
These
buckets in
questions
the...
raced furiously in
catwalk
Stanley's
ending.
feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept
No!
it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point,
This
he could
particular
trust
ending,
no
with
one
how much it's
except
involving
for
the bucket, but is still the same as the original, reminds me a lot of how people will make like self-insert fan fictions, or like they'll put another character into a different world and they'll like squeeze them into every scene.
But here was the proof.
Specifically,
The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
in a
happy
really
or
forced
sad
kind of way.
Or content. Walking eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded
Where
from
it's
this very
essentially the
place.
same.
And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human
I was
life.
trying to zoom in, but this
For he and the
doesn't have
bucket
that.
would dismantle.
Ooh!
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness.
I can't even see the bucket anymore.
Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
Odd.
True, it was a simple life they
I don't
envisioned,
know how you'd even
but it
do
was
that.
one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Oh, hey, Doug!
An unbearable silence
Nice to
filled
see
the
you.
room, lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the
How are
face.
you doing?
This building did not want the bucket
I've
to leave.
done 3 endings so far.
Even the facility itself
Granted, one
recognized
was
the
the
incredible
room
calming
closet ending,
presence of the
so
bucket.
it kinda
Needed the
means
soothing
nothing.
warmth of the bucket. Would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket.
I mean, it says property of Stanley, no, so...
Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really
This
so
reminds me
bad,
of something, but I
Stanley
can't
thought to
figure it
himself.
out.
As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
I have
Stanley
nothing to
gulped.
do at work.
Very
That's
soon
fair.
now, he was about to find out.
Your job is very... sometimes not. Very sporadic. I can't imagine IT work super
All of his
interesting.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed
I want to
bucket,
catch the
a
employee.
bucket of culture and distinction.
Right now I'm doing all of the
Stanley
left
clutched
endings.
the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I think we have about maybe 5 or so.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever.
Already
Perhaps
room
his boss's
closet.
office was where he'd find.
I
Coming
can
to a
do the
staircase,
insanity
Stanley and the
ending
bucket
soon.
walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight, but Stanley guessed the correct code
Okay,
by sheer
maybe-
luck. Was it that the bucket knew all
Maybe the
along?
bucket
Was
makes
the
it so
bucket
that
guiding
there's
him?
no way to
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
do it too fast. Because otherwise he's real snarky. Like, oh, Stanley's in such a hurry. But I just want to be able to reach the endings. I actually managed to get the presentation one on my own without any help.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Have you played like all of the endings,
Lights rose
including the
on
bucket
an
ones?
enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible
Television.
secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
You have. Okay, so like every single one. That's impressive.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled
Just
it
the other
gently,
day, I paid a
reassuring it
streamer I
that
was
everything
watching
would be fine.
to play this game. I bought it for her.
Was
feel
the
like that's
bucket
kind
under
of
the
funny.
mind control facility's
Oh, that
influence
one's
as
in
well?
the,
Had the bucket been told to do
boss's
things
room.
it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart
I
of
hadn't
the
seen the
operation.
countdown
Controls
ending
labeled
for the
with
bucket yet.
emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Birds!
Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Oh, this is awesome.
Stanley
it's bird
flipped
TV.
through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind
This is
controls were only
amazing.
a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths
really
his life
good.
could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Finally, a happy Stanley ending. Oh, I bet my brother loves ducks. I bet he'd love that ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Cool, you
decided
get
to
to
go
watch
to the meeting
streams
room.
at work. I used to be able to, but
Embrace
only
of an old
between
friend.
calls.
A weathered companionship that
Oh, it
stands
still has
the
the
test
property of
time.
Stanley sticker on it.
Stanley clutched the
I
bucket
need to see a
tightly to
cosplay
his
of Stanley
chest
with the bucket.
and entered the door on his left.
I need to draw Stanley with the bucket.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket
Okay, I
walked
think I only have like
upstairs to the
3
boss's
more
office.
here. I've watched so many people play this recently.
Stepping
that
into his manager's office, Stanley was once
I
again
memorized the
stunned
code.
to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Have you seen any of Wayne Radio TV's stream of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe? Like a week or two ago, he streamed the game for like 5 hours.
Stanley and the bucket
wanna
walked
know
straight
before I
ahead
tell you
through
what
the large
happened.
door that read Mind Control Facility. But just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and
I
fell
haven't
over
seen
the
any
railing
streams of
and
it
into the
except for
dark
this one
void
naturally.
below.
Okay,
Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall.
that's silly.
Now, what to do next? Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
What is this, the sequel to the
So they set up a little
apartment
couch
ending?
and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here. A bit cold, perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well. And a
This
sort
is
of
the sequel
kitchenette
to the love
that was
ending.
useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home.
I thought it said
In
Stanley
fact,
Labs.
after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control
Oh,
facility
these
at
are
all.
cute.
He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack
This
of
is a
closure
dirty
began
sink.
to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed
Fun
as
carpet.
Stanley became withdrawn and neglected the cleaning.
What, is he the house
It
husband?
unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this.
This is
The
the
bucket
bad
tried to
ending
reach out
to
to
the
him
love
again
ending.
and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending.
There's no
This
true
made
ending
no
for
sense
this
at all
game,
to
which
the bucket,
is...
which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was inconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground.
Who is this?
The
This
bucket
looks like a
sighed.
woman.
True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
Interesting. I like that bucket ending. I'll probably do a top 3
The
bucket
meeting room.
endings
Yes, that's where
afterwards.
everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room.
The bucket
Okay,
made Stanley
so-
want to be a better man and a better coach. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Narrator, can you
and
stop for
entered
a
the
moment? I'm
door of
trying
his
to
lab.
talk about a stream in my stream bucket. Oh! Hey, bro!
Still no one was here.
That was
Stanley needed the
also
bucket's
Doug's
warmth and
first
comfort
comment.
now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the
Was
bucket
where he would
walked
find
upstairs
coming.
to the boss's office.
Okay, so Wayne Radio TV, Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe stream. So he was a big fan of the original game. It was his favorite game back when it came out, and stuff like that. I'm trying to find a play to sit down. Doors Monthly. Oh, Outdoors Monthly. Doors Monthly. Okay, so he plays the game. He's looking for the new stuff. He does not find the new stuff. He finds the game ending with the baby, where you save the baby from being from the fire, and he starts joking. What if I got the ending where you do the game for 4 hours? And time continued, and he kept playing the game and joking with his chat about doing it for 4 whole hours. And then he got to a point where he'd invested so much time into the baby game that he kept going. It reached over an hour before, over an hour of his chat yelling at him and sending him money to tell him to stop, before he finally messed up at the game. And then he put on a hack on his computer that let him do it really fast. Up until he reached the point where he had failed previously. And then he continued from there. The stream is 5 hours long. He reached no new content. All he did was play the Keep the Baby Away from the Fire game up until he achieved that ending, and then he went to bed. He hasn't played it
Stepping
since, and I
into
don't
his
expect him
manager's
to.
office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed, but Stanley guessed the correct
Crushed?
code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Okay, we're almost done with the left side ones. I think the right side ones probably has more interesting endings. Unfortunately, that does include the love ending. Oh dang, Crunchyroll ain't working.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead
Museum
through the large
ending.
door that read, Mind Control for... Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
This is how capitalism works.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket
Give me
still
a
had
run
every
button.
opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
I know last time someone asked for a
At this
skip
point,
button,
Stanley and the bucket
it
were
turned out
knowingly
really
walking
bad,
forward
but like,
into a very painful death
maybe I want to
for
run.
each of them.
Off we go. I think I did this one last time I played. But granted, I also did the Freedom one, and I redid that.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on
I don't
how
think I ever
meaningless the
got
bucket's warmth and comfort
The
had
museum
turned out to
ending
be.
in the
To
original
be sure,
because I
it puts the
couldn't
mind and the
find
soul at
the
ease to
area to
embrace the
leave.
bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley
I would
thought
think
to
a lot,
himself,
actually.
and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the
Oh,
narrator,
the curator.
as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end,
And
as
also
it was
Stanley.
crushed violently to death.
Oh, we got boxes!
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket.
Not Stanley,
It's true
though.
that all buckets are radiant in their own way.
Radiant.
But this one
Okay,
stood
Peppa
above
Pig.
the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Welcomes you to the grand exhibit. No bucket. Oh, true, I'm not holding a bucket anymore.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own?
Oh,
Can you
it's
see the
going to heaven.
hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley
Vitruvian
will
man.
ever be in his short life?
Interesting. At least there's only one way to go this time. This is not something I heard last time.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Oh, wait. Oh, I pick up the bucket. That's what I'm supposed to do. I think I just restarted last time.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the
What
world
is he, like,
buckets from their
stealing
treatment
buckets
as
like they're
tools and
people's
implements
wives?
If only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision for...
No, that's ridiculous. He dead? He gone? In this ending, we must punish Stanley for having a bucket.
All of his co-workers
Okay, only
were
2
gone.
more
What could it
on
mean?
the left side.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
I
he had
almost missed-
simply...
I
Not
almost
everyone
forgot
is
the
so
bucket.
lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow.
Very lucky indeed.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Oh, my finals are finally over, luckily. I worked hard at them, and I'm
Still no
so
one was
tired
here.
from it. But I'm
Stanley
glad to be able
needed
to
the bucket's
stream
warmth
again.
and comfort now more than ever.
Oops,
Perhaps
wrong
his
way.
boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I know the insanity bucket ending is real good.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket
After you do
knew
this
all
enough
along?
time, he just gets
Was
mad
the
at you and
bucket
just
guiding
like,
him?
God, keep
Yes,
going.
this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Ugh, my neck hurts. I was gonna ask what you guys are doing later, but as far as I know, only Briar and Doug are in the chat, and I already know what they're doing later. Work and hanging out with me.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
I wonder why. Seems
Here
like
we
this
are,
isn't
said
gonna
Stanley.
be-
Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and over and over. Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
Okay, I thought number 3 was actually gonna do something. I miss picking up the collectible figurines. I want to do that again.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
Me info-dumping at my mom and she doesn't care.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate the number 3 for the bucket again?
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see.
Why is
Feel
this
the
relatable?
happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
I just got a really weird Twitter notification. Komeda from real life is a liberal. Awesome. Great news, Komeda from real life.
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion.
Concerto.
He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears.
That is
The
how
whole
art
time,
is.
He looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing.
I take
The
way too
bucket
many
conveyed
screenshots.
absolutely nothing at all. Only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator. Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another.
Ever
Why
since this
suddenly could the
morning.
bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley's? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely
Ooh,
there
I
was a
can show-
solution, mustn't there be?
Off. If I do the proper presentation ending, I can show off again the asset my friend made. I don't think there's any way to do the sequel ending again. Or the... Yeah, the sequel ending is where her art was featured. I do have a screenshot of it.
Said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and
Hello,
over.
sorry I'm late.
He would
Oh, hi,
elaborate fully on what the
Kawazo-chan.
number 3
I really
meant to
appreciate you
him,
coming
and why
back.
he felt so alive when
It's fine.
pressing it.
I've only
Then the
done
bucket would be
maybe
able to see his
a
joy
third
through
of the bucket
eyes
endings
of
so
others.
far.
It would
It's
get
spoilers
to
for
see
the Stanley
world
Parable,
react
but you
to
know.
this discovery of Stanley's. And it would be through the public eye that the bucket would finally understand Stanley's work.
Have you ever played the game before?
For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure
World's
further.
healthiest human being.
When the big day arrived,
How we did it, the pyramids.
Stanley was as prepared as he'd
The guy
ever
who
been
went to
for
Mars.
anything
These are
in his
very
life.
funny stock photos. Yeah, that... Okay. I've never played the game. Oh, it's a wonderful game. Probably one of my top 10. It's a really interesting narrative on choice in video games, among other things. Yeah, choice and how that matters. I'm gonna compare it to Undertale, which makes no sense because it's not a similar game to Undertale at all, but it's themed around choice and the choices you make in the game and how they're all set up already, as well as narrative storytelling in video games and how they can affect people and this and that. And it's really beautiful and really interesting, and there's a lot of really cool endings. And the Ultra Deluxe Edition, which is technically Stanley Parable 2, added this joke bucket feature where you can go through each ending and there will be a variant of it where you are holding a bucket, and it changes stuff a lot, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm playing all the bucket variants because I've played all the other ones. Yeah, my friend made this image of high quality Stanley. And she's in the credits for the game because of this and the piece of art that's there too. This is how I advertise my streams. World peace, baby. That is the man, the process, the myth, the legend, the parable. That sounds nice. Yeah, it's a really interesting game to stage. And oh,
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket
all
over.
the cute little notes were
One
replaced with the number
opportunity
3.
to share a true connection with a loved one.
The dude who came up with pizza. I think that was the Italians.
There was no
This
one
ending
here.
is about...
Nobody had come to the press conference
Aw!
to hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad.
There's a
over and
rat
over.
somewhere in this game, I know that.
He was
He's
unloved,
somewhere around here, I think.
uninteresting. He was a failure. And in that moment, Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that
The
slowly,
first ending
over
I
many
did
years,
today,
the two of them grew more and more distant.
we ended up killing the bucket.
They spoke less and
which was
less,
interesting.
neither wishing to state the obvious, that any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference.
This
There would be no
ending
more
is kind of
games,
painful.
No more long conversations
It's about passion and
passion
trying to share it
pursuit.
with the people you
Only
love, only for them to
silence
not
that
react.
consume the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
If I was paying slightly more attention, I probably would have cried at that ending. It's just how relatable it is. I know it's dumb because it's about the number 3 in a bucket, but... Oh! The narrator's words just straight up disappeared. I'm going to change the settings real quick. because there's... Okay, accessibility, show content warnings. There we go. I don't think there's any content warnings for bucket for any of the bucket
A
ones.
soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started.
Ooh, I haven't
and if
heard
it
this
did,
dialogue
it stopped
before.
shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so magnificent. Stanley checked his ego and
narrator's
then
really
proceeded
interesting.
onward.
Like,
Stanley
voice-wise.
clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. and
Okay, this
entered
should be the
door
last
his
one on the left side of the door. How's your day going,
Still no one was here.
Kawazo-chan?
Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked
I'm not going
upstairs
to
to the
go
boss's
upstairs.
office.
This scared me the first time I saw it.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of
section
facing his
contains themes of
boss,
mental
admitting
illness.
he had
Hold
left
F
his
to
post
skip
during work
and
hours.
complete
He might
this
be
ending.
fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had
I'm
he
glad
taken that
it
risk?
has
All because he believed everyone had
the
vanished.
content warning.
His boss would think he was crazy. And then
This is called the insanity
something
ending,
occurred to
so...
Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket.
Pretty
The bucket
good. How are
returned
you?
his gaze,
I'm doing
but said nothing
okay.
at all.
Later I'm gonna hang out with a
That's
friend
strange,
after I
Stanley
take my
thought.
brother to
Usually
work.
the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the
It's hard
bucket
to talk
close,
in a game
yet
like this
felt
because
none
of
of
the
its
narrator.
familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket.
Oh,
Someone else's
the
bucket,
music in the
perhaps. How did
background.
I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what
Sounds
sorts
fun.
of bizarre
Yeah, we're going to
hallucinations
play
Stanley might
place called
experience
Zupas.
without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket.
Where did the bucket go?
Now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one
Okay,
bucket
honestly,
after the
I
next.
think-
None of them were his.
Oh,
None
wow.
of them were his special bucket.
I think this one might actually be better than the original Insanity ending.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She
A bucket
arose,
that calls
got
your name.
dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right
Call me by
away,
your
she
name, but
knew
it's
what
not
the
a bucket.
problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even
ponytail is
realize he'd
textured really
forgotten his
weird.
bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Heck yes, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work. That's... For that specific line...
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it.
Oh, this literally happened
won't
to
we
me at
all
work
just-
once.
Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective.
Back when I
yet
worked at
assertive,
a-
yet compassionate.
Okay, I
Stanley
finished all
clashed
the
the
left
bucket
door
tightly
ones.
to
Let's
his
go
chest.
right door.
And this was not the
But
correct
yeah, this
way
happened
the
to me
meeting
at work
room.
once.
But Stanley
Not
had
with the
felt
bucket, but
calling to him,
it seemed like there
telling
was
him that
absolutely
the
no one
employee
there
lounge
back when I
was
had an
simply
office
the
job.
place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left.
Eventually
to
I
go
found
back to the
people
meeting room.
kick your ass.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good.
I think I'm
Said the
actually going to
bucket.
do these endings
Now
out of
ride
order.
the lift all the way to the top.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest
I
friend.
probably should have warned for
So he
suicide.
threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
I just died in your arms tonight. Must have been something you said.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a... Stanley's
I don't
bucket,
remember how
the
to
only
get the
co-worker
heaven
he would
ending.
ever truly need. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him
I got the
that
wrong
the
one.
employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
This is a
Had the
weird
bucket turned
office.
out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
I'm going to go for
Stanley
the
took
vent
the door on his
ending
left
next.
to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Ooh. Oh, it's just like the Magnus Archives.
Okay, this is day number 295, tape number... I don't
Oh,
even
it's
know.
zooming in real quick.
I've lost track.
I mean, real slow.
Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything
Okay, I
makes.
joked about the Magnus Archives, but this is
Sheer
sounds like it could be in the
euphoria I
Magnus
feel
Archives.
every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's
Could this
always
be an actual
the
Magnus Archives
same
restaurant
feeling.
reference? Maybe it's just the British
And the
people
emptiness in
that
my
make me
chest
think that.
when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure?
This is just
I
like the homophobic vase ending.
I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get me. What's that? Who's there?
Isn't that the name of the wizard that was mentioned in that other ending earlier? Okay, that was just an episode of the Magnus Archives. This guy must be on drugs. I mean, a lot of the endings
Just
have
a
to do
step
a
through
lot
this door,
with how
Stanley thought to himself.
the
That's
bucket
all I
affects
need.
people.
If I can make it through this... Is Stanley, without the bucket, really Stanley at all? No. No, surely not.
Me when I don't have my phone on me.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No.
I want
never
to see
mind.
more Easter eggs.
The bucket was wrong.
My brother
Stanley
sent
took
me
the
a
door on his
video
left
of like
to
the
go
out of
back
bounds
to the
stuff, but I
meeting
haven't
room.
watched it yet.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
You can go in here.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top.
Or
There's something
see.
up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think
I wonder
about
what's
this
on the
obvious
other
fact.
catwalk. I
He
wonder
was
if there's
firmly
anything
convinced that the
interesting.
bucket had spoken to him, and he
know what's down
unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
I went off. I went off.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the...
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were
I
you
wanna
trying
see
to
what
resist
happens.
the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there
true.
isn't
Me
exactly
too.
an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here.
Okay,
Let's
everyone,
take a
time to
look.
become joke masters.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively
telling a
silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone
Oh,
laugh,
this is The Simpsons
in all
now.
likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh.
Don't think that's how
and
it
then
works.
spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds
Whoa.
and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny
I'm
with
not
the
saying
funny"
that.
now.
You can't make me.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of
This
good
guy
comedy.
looks like Elias from Agnes
Finally,
Archives.
it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An
guess.
effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long
Oh,
and should
that's
include the
not
same
true.
question reprinted several
I
times.
learned about
just to ensure the survey
surveys
taker is
in my
actually
class
paying
I just
attention
took.
and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even
don't
tripled
like
over in
these
laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children
What?
must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Okay.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the 2 doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
Do I have to actually walk all the way back? You seriously gonna make me do that, man? I guess you do
I
in
can
the
feel
normal
it.
version. This
This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches.
A little outdated, you
How
sure?
ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Yeah, the Stanley Parable must take place in some alternate universe where... Probably the same one as Portal. If the human mutants with mantis,
Here we go.
the mantis
You ready?
mutants are
When
anything
Stanley and the
to go
bucket
by.
came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's
Okay,
no
sir.
way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm
Mean
going
to
to be
him.
shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud? Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already?
Interesting.
No, what's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit
I can
which
go in a
culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the 2 doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of
it's
Comedy. I'm
fine,
nothing.
sir.
I'm not even the lowliest
Wait,
joke-telling
we no longer
world.
have the bucket
I
sticker
think-
on our bucket.
I think I need to go back and rewatch
do I have to
that
watch it again?
instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
You spin me right round,
Stanley,
right round.
you
Oh,
love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. No. We're getting away from making fun
Stanley
of
character
Stanley's
skin.
obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of
Original
this.
artwork.
I'm no good at
Valve
these
support
jokes.
team, art
I need
assets,
more
Valve.
instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the
Where's
king of
my
comedy again.
friends
More
credit? Maybe it's in a
instructional
different
videos.
credits area.
See.
Stanley has no opinions on this.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his...
This was not the correct way to
Oh,
the
there's
meeting
one
room.
more
But Stanley had
ending
felt
on
the
the left
bucket
side I
calling
forgot
to him,
about.
telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
What was
and
that?
here it was. Had the bucket
do
turned
you
out
mean,
to be
what
correct?
was that?
Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Okay.
And so the two
Actually,
of them
if I go this
detoured
way,
through the maintenance section and
I'll
walked
be
straight
able
ahead to
to
the opposite door.
finish that other ending I wanted
Still
to
no
do.
one was here.
That I
Stanley
forgot
needed the
about.
bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find. Coming to a staircase,
That
Stanley and the
ending,
bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Dang it. Maybe it's the boss's door right here.
Stepping in.
I did it! I've unlocked the ending. Do you mean the ending we just experienced? Or, like, did I mention another ending? I don't have a great memory. Oh, our bucket sticker's back. I want someone to appear there. Ending we just experienced. It makes more sense if you've seen the original. It's about kind of the disconnect between Stanley and the narrator and how he gets mad that the player isn't doing what Stanley would do. And how he's ruining his story and stuff like that. And then the player no longer has the ability to control Stanley, and the narrator realizes that Stanley's not doing anything, and without Stanley there's no story, there's no action, so there's no way to continue, so he gets real sad, and you view Stanley from over the top of the map like that. How long am I supposed to go upstairs? Oh, there we go, finally. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, it's a really good ending. Probably my favorite one. I can go through it normally if you want. the low poly hands. Wait, my mom texted me from her house right now. She's homesick and alone. I can't do that. I am busy. Maybe once I finish the endings, maybe I'll leave early. I don't know. Oh, there's a footprint in there. Awesome. I am almost done.
All of his co-workers
I have only
were
like
gone.
3 more endings.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
Plus
missed
the
the
heaven
memo.
one, but I forgot how to complete the heaven ending. So unless people are like really itching to see the heaven
When
ending,
Stanley
I think I'll
came
skip
to
that
a set
one.
of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
Everyone,
just to admire it.
well, most people
Stanley
I've watched
felt
play
lightheaded,
this game have thought the
butterflies in his
narrator's
stomach.
hot.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander
I wanna
about
leave.
and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Oh!
From here, it's...
Not my type, that's fair.
left.
I forgot to bring the bucket. The whole point of this is bucket endings, and I forgot to pick up the stupid bucket. I just oh. Ooh, this is the rare blue room event.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
It means you
Stanley
can get the
decided-
whiteboard ending.
And try not to lose this one too, you dolt.
Welcome to the whiteboard ending. This is the whiteboard ending. You can then continue on from there.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to
Okay,
his... This was not the correct way to the meeting
I have
room.
the bucket now.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind.
Okay, now I can do
Bucket
this
was
one with the
wrong.
bucket.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I want to fall off. I want to go faster.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found
Let me
your
out,
way
let me
here.
out.
I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh, it's the intervention.
You see,
Look
your
at this
friends and I are
baby.
concerned for you, Stanley.
Whose
We've come
baby is
together
this?
here
It's
because
probably
we
a
care about
teenager
you
by
very
now.
much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too
Let me
much
sit down.
time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
This way.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and
GM.
it played some silly music as well.
Can't believe.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
I do have feelings about that. It's like his line that was like, let's give them content exactly like this. I have troubles finishing media because I get so scared of like, what if I never am able to experience something that makes me happy in this way again? Like, I still haven't finished Dracula, and it's been years since I started the book. I only have a little bit longer. I took over a year to finish Half-Life Alyx, even though there was 15 minutes left in the game, because I took forever to start rewatching Ninjago from the beginning, because what if it wasn't like how I wanted it to be, how it was as a kid? What if having ADHD and experiencing hyperfixations, it's a weird way to be attached to things. Whenever I start something new, I'm apprehensive about it because I don't want it to replace something I already love. And my hyperfixations can just disappear in an instant, especially if there's something to replace them. It's scary to get into new things, and it's scary to end things. It's hard to handle. I don't know the right way to... I don't know a healthy way to experience things. I don't know how to like things in a normal way that doesn't consume my consciousness. Like, I'm able to be critical of stuff, and I'm able to leave stuff behind if I need to, but I get so attached to things, and I lose attachment to things so quickly that I kind of stick too much to what's important to me at the time.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
I wonder.
Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket.
I
and
literally
then pop it into
can't.
the
It only
machine when
brings
you're
it
ready.
closer to me.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you say, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were
Literally
to
the
really
only
explore
characters
the
that
Bucket
actually
Destroyer,
count as
you'd see
characters
that
are
its
the narrator
desire to
and
crush
Stanley.
buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get
what
back to the
happens
classic
after
Stanley
the Bucket
Parable
Destroyer
characters like the
destroys
Adventure Line
the
or the
bucket.
Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
And only the Bucket Destroyer is left.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now.
Yes,
Goodbye,
I want Bucket Destroyer
new friend.
merch. Getting
For
on
the
that
moment in
right
time
now.
that you were here, you were magnificent.
They make a lot of joke merch in the game during the sequel ending. I think people would want to actually buy those.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted.
What new
Mean of
mysteries lay in
Stanley.
store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
I probably
here it
could get
was.
some more
Had the
achievements
bucket
if I
turned out to be
wanted, but the
correct?
ones in this
No,
game are kind of
never
weird.
mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere
Okay,
else.
should I do catwalk
cargo
or
lift, yes.
love
Good,
ending?
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need
I only
you
have
to
a few
do.
seconds to decide.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he
I
unthinkingly
think I'll
did
do it.
whatever the bucket asked.
Here we go. Danger. Danger everywhere. Me when I go on the internet.
No, stop.
No buckets
Look
past
there
this
on the
point.
wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket.
Please, step in here for a moment.
Oh. There we go. Game show!
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not
Oh,
a
I'm
bucket.
tired today.
Okay, let's begin. Item 1.
Okay, chat. Is this a bucket or is this not a bucket?
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Yeah. This part of the game's like that.
Item 3.
Loves to trick.
Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Awesome. This is very easy to understand and very true. Okay, is this a bucket or is this not a bucket?
Is this a bucket?
I don't know how long the lag of the chat is. I'm gonna say no.
Correct.
Okay.
This is a
It
tractor
wasn't a trick
and
question.
not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned
If it said
that
yes, I
even
swear.
this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
Thank you for not making me look like an idiot.
Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
You heard him, chat. This is a bucket.
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Both. Not a bucket and is a
Item-
bucket.
Wait,
It's
hold
just
on,
like
I can't
Schrodinger's
find the
bucket.
next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
What the? Yeah.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all
Me
sense
doing my
of
finals
perspective.
yesterday.
What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with.
That's true.
I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart.
Stanley
I
and
can't
narrator
that.
have
I'm
a really
sorry.
complex,
But I'm
interesting
going to
relationship
erase
where
all
they
buckets from the game entirely.
rely on
Okay.
each other,
Here we go.
but also kind of hate each other. Oh, he's removing all buckets from the game.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket? My God, I had no idea. How could... except me. I'm not a bucket after all.
We're not a
And
bucket
you,
either.
Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Remember the last ending with the bucket destroyer and it was the only thing left? That's because it destroyed all the buckets and the game was completely made of buckets. My friend told me that today. Okay, we only have one ending left.
Already this was
have an
uncomfortable,
ending.
and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
That's how I feel when I get home from work.
This.
I mean, nothing is something since we have a word for it, and what we describe as nothing is still something since it's going to be air.
This
That's
was not
true.
the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him
I
that
mean,
the
zero is
employee
technically a
lounge
number.
was simply the place to be.
That kind of thing.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Closing it.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to
Okay,
the
this should
meeting
be the
room.
last
Go
one.
somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
This is a,
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
this
Stanley
is a hard
once
game to
again
stream.
obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the...
Pick up the... It's hard to get
This
thoughts
is the
going.
sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket. Press I to take me to work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Press F to take me back home with you.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Press Q to go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
I can't climb the chair. Don't listen to the loud man. Press I for us to go back home. I mean, if your only friend is a bucket, that is a sad
he's not
story,
listening.
yeah.
He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket.
I wouldn't
This
call it a
hunk of
stupid
metal.
hunk of metal. Press F to ignore anyone in your life except for me. Screenshots of Despair loves this
It's
game, I
sad.
bet.
I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's
not really
just
a
going
hunk
to
of
cling
metal.
to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Look at these effects, baby. You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Press V to go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of
More
transporting
capable
liquid.
of transporting
Like
liquid.
it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Press R to relive the same day with me over and over. R.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket.
It's not a hunk of metal,
Why do
it's
I
my
feel some
friend!
need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular
It's not
bucket?
a bucket of me! Press C to go home, to work, to home, to work, to home.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For
the bucket.
Oh no!
No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand.
It's
Perhaps
12:13.
if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing.
Ooh, I'm on the
Yes.
bed now.
The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me.
I'm
give
not
me
giving
the
you the
bucket,
bucket.
Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give
Close
it
your
all I-
eyes. Go back to work, Stanley. I feel like that one's the love ending. I feel like the love ending's probably one of the best bucket ones. I think it's got some good screenshots. It's pretty funny. Unfortunately, it's also called the fuck it ending, considering the bucket's on the bed and you kind of fall in love with it. But there's plenty of the endings that imply that you're in love with the bucket. Okay, that's all the bucket endings.
How long was I sitting
Go
there?
fuck off, it's
Stanley
fine.
wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned?
I'm gonna
He
see
made
if
a
I...
note to be more
Look! Look!
careful
Here he
when
is!
from
There he
now
is!
on.
It's the guy! It's the guy! That's a creepy Easter egg that's in the game. I've been trying to catch it all stream long. The thing is, there's no one there. There's no one in the whole entire building. Everyone's disappeared. But then you see this guy out of the corner of your eye, and you look, and there's a guy walking by. And I finally found him. Okay.
Finally, yes. The bucket. Yes. I love that bucket.
Okay, which computer next? I'm trying to get the heaven ending. Do I have to actually look up a guide, or can I just press these? Oh fuck, I think I did this wrong. What other computers do I push? I'm gonna look up how to do the heaven ending real quick. Input on 419's computer, then restart the game. Go to 423's computer, activate input, restart the game. This time, activate input on the computer screen just before entering the boss's office. Restart the game and activate input on 434's computer. Oh, this is a lot of restarting. I don't think there's a bucket variant for this, actually. What do I do now then? I still have like 22 minutes before I have to take my brother to work. Okay, my mom said she'd get my sister, so I don't have to get her. What should I do now? I've played all of the endings in the game, all the bucket endings specifically, but I've played the other ones too. Should I switch to another game? Should I do some art? Give me your ideas in the chat. Credits. Be full credits. Yeah, I don't think there's a heaven bucket ending. Let's see if I can find where my friend is. In this creepy hallway. Ooh, my back hurts. My friend also had the opportunity to be a beta tester for this game, but she didn't want to because she wanted to play it like additional art. She must be in additional art. No, she's not. Additional 3D art, no. Additional animation. How about another game? What game though? What game should I play? Additional voice work, localization, Italian translation, German translation, social media management, Discord management. Yeah, she was part of the Discord, and I know the Discord is there too, like, let's see, where would she be? Would it be her online username or her actual name? Because, like, I know both of a bunch of the songs in the game. It's a lot more than I thought. Oh, and those are the fonts they used. Created with Unity. What games would I be able to play quick or like shortly? Narrated by Kevin Brighting. Oh, Jesus programmed this. Nice. Sound design, original music. Is it just gonna keep going in a circle? Maybe they... Stanley character skin, original artwork, animation. I imagine there's not a lot of animation to this game. Flickr photo credit. Valve support team. What did they have to do with Valve? I know Source is a Valve thing. Oh, special thanks to these people. Sorry, I'm trying to focus on which one is my friend. The Discord community. There's the Discord. There's the mods. I guess she hasn't been added properly into the game. And you! Yay! I helped! I helped by playing the game. Okay, let's swap to another game. I'm not sure exactly what to play. Let's see. Okay, it wants me to restart Steam, so I can't play a Steam game. So I guess my option is Sims 4. If we want to really play like only 20 minutes of The Sims 4. I can do that. Does that sound interesting? Let me change the title and stuff of the screen. Sims 4. There we go. Yes. Okay. Has it automatically... Okay. Perfect. It's in the perfect little shape. Wait. I need... Okay, game capture. Game capture. I want to wiggle this up a little bit. Make it slightly smaller. Sorry if this isn't entertaining to just slightly move my screen around. Okay, here we go. It doesn't fit exactly with my thing, with my overlay. Okay, Steam is normal again. But I don't know what Steam game I'd even play if I switch to something from Steam, so... Okay. Play scenario. I could continue my legacy. Now I gotta figure out how to afford money for this house. Because I'm gonna need a bath now that I have a toddler. It says you're sleeping. Go back to bed. Silly. Where's the child? Why is she outside? Go back to bed, little lady. I know you're not tired, but like, you should be. I'm going to sell this and swap to one of these babies. Pink. I need it to be pink. That's the most important part. Who doesn't want to go outside in the middle of the night? Kids, you know? Okay, apparently this is what is needed to work. Wait, do we need to clean up this splatter on the floor? I say splatter as if it's not a puddle. I forgot the name for it. Mop that real quick, girl. Now go to bed. Sleep with your new husband. Can I now? Yes. That was the issue. There we go. Awesome. You can sleep. You are in bed, darling little baby. Oh, you get up? Come on. Can I make this pink? We don't have a pink. I probably tried that last time. Always going to work early in the morning. Actually, quit your job. Don't do your job. I need you to get a new job. I don't want you to work fast food. Find a job. Find something new, something better. Fast food's important, but also, like, I don't want you to work fast food. That's not interesting. Okay. Any ideas? We could do actor, detective, doctor, scientist, astronaut, athlete, business, conservationist, criminal, education, engineer, entertainer, freelancer, gardener, law, painter, salary person, secret agent, style influencer, tech guru, writer, or a bunch of part-time jobs that I don't really want to do. What fits Zane the best? Scientist is one of the ones where you can go out and actually do it. Tech? Tech guru? Programming skills. I mean, he is a robot, so that makes sense. Yes. Quit his job at Hamburger Man. Awesome. He starts Saturday at 10 a.m. It is currently Friday. Awesome. It will help to have 2 sources of income in the house. He's hungry. She is still sleepy, so she needs to go sleep more. Okay. What else does he need? Other than hunger, take a quick bath. Just to keep it clean, you know. And then when Lyric wakes up... Oh! Speak of the devil. Or, well, the baby. What does Lyric need? She needs to go potty. So, change her. Parenting. Teach to say please and thank you. And teach to say sorry. Oh, she is laughing. Devil baby, what's the difference? Size mostly. Oh, I forgot. I need... Duh. I keep forgetting all these important baby things we need. I don't feel like the room needs to be quite this big. Let's see. No, I don't need that. This is gonna look ugly, but it's gonna save us a bit of space. There we go. Oops, I forgot to actually buy the baby toilet. Silly me. Whoopsie daisy. Toilet. Here it is. There's a 50 difference. This one matches because it's pink though, so I'm gonna buy it. It needs to match even if it's just a toilet. Can this toilet be pink? I'm realizing. It cannot. What about the sink? No, but I can make it blue to fit to match the baby bed. He's teaching his daughter.
Darvis Walalo Chingle.
That's really cute. Okay, teaching her to say please and thank you.
Panerf Lazamba.
Brighten day.
Tananiwa.
Teach to talk. She is gaining so many manners right now. On that grind.
Shunig.
Read toddler book. Oh, Q is full. Good lesson. He's good. Oh, that's what it meant by good lesson. Oh, she was angry for a moment. I wonder why. Let's see. He wants to call someone on the phone, buy a chef station, and have a water balloon fight. Let's call someone on the phone then.
Fresh. Yibs. Panerf Lazamba. Pimbus.
Chat on the phone with... How about you talk with Mia? You guys are besties.
Walalo Chingle. Morib.
He is hanging out with his daughter so much right now. What is going on with your pants, sir? Did they freeze? Are they ice? Oh, he's leveled up his parenting skill. Oh, he could be a stay-at-home dad. That'd be really cute. Boba. Teach basic needs. Give food.
Steve Darvis.
It's really cute. Oh, she's reached level 3. She can yell at people now. A normal, important baby skill.
Barisha.
Teach to talk.
Gorbaline.
Prepare meeting. Let's forget that part. Give food. Teach basic needs.
Mishi Oba. Elfrisium Bara.
Oh, she is so excited to learn. I love it when baby. I love it when baby. See, toddler care. Oh, I keep pressing change outfit because I think it will give me more options. Oh, less emotional control. Oh no. Acquire the thinking skill. Don't yell at your baby girl.
Venga.
Oh, he's putting her in the chair. Oh, she said booby. Crackers.
Sawada baby.
She's so cute.
Yes. Sigluna Vero.
The toddlers in this game are really good.
Blevko. Skeebs.
Wants to tell a joke. How about you wake up your wife to tell her a hilarious joke? I think if my husband did that, I'd be very upset. But not for long, if the joke was funny enough. Hey babe, wake up. I have a good gag. Gaze lovingly at new spouse. That's so cute. Kiss your wife. Good morning. Funny. Tell joke about vampires. She ate that really fast, yeah. Baby speed ran it. Okay, you don't need to do that in front of your child. I didn't realize you'd be making out. You should take out the garbage. We don't have an outdoor trash can. Of course we need one of those. Outdoor trash can. I already have a mailbox. Empties trash. Thank you. He needs to eat more. It's almost lunch. Oh, is she gonna cook something? Oh, she's just eating some leftovers. That makes sense. She needs to eat real bad, then she needs to go potty. Oh, take your child out of there. Let out. How's baby doing? Great, she just needs some fun. How about we give her a bubble bath? Because that ups the fun, I remember. He wants to hug someone. How about you hug your sweet baby daughter? Hug lovingly. And then he's gonna bathe her. Have you eaten your bread yet, ma'am? She just abandoned the bread to go potty instead. How old is she? Is she gonna become an adult soon? Where? Oh, we still have this.
Peppery, stubborn.
You gotta go where you gotta go. True. Her hunger's getting even lower. What are you doing? You're browsing the web instead of fixing this? I can't believe you. Repair that. We don't have the money to replace it or anything. Oh, he's gonna hug his baby girl. So sweet. Wait. Awesome. Brother's canceling on me. Which can't really happen because if you're still watching the stream, Nathaniel, I have to go immediately to another place. So that's not gonna work. Teach your baby girl some more things. Play with her. She needs some fun. Her fun goes down quick. Ooh, she wants to tell a joke about chicken butt. Say nonsense. Talk about toys. Joke about chicken butt. Normal for a child. Oh, he's getting a phone call. Hey Zane, Brittany Cho has asked me on a date. Should I say yes? Okay, I don't know who you are. Oh, shrimp cocktail. Conktail. Conk. She reached level 4. That was quick. Hey, I've got to go. I really like this stream. Till next stream. Thank you. I'll also be streaming at the same time tomorrow, but I'll be doing art instead. I'm about to wrap up anyways, like literally in 2 minutes. Thank you for coming. Talk to your mother, little lady. Work for Justice starts in an hour. Do you need anything before you go? She needs to eat a bit more. Get leftovers. Stop talking with your baby girl. Write jokes. We don't have a computer yet, look, girl. Prepare food is complete. That is good. Work starts soon. Where'd the baby go? Let's be curious. We can go, what's that? You can play in the trash. That's allowed. You're allowed to be a naughty little lady. I'm glad she is having fun. He needs to play video games for his career. I don't have video games. We have some on the phone, I think. It begins. Nothing beats the feeling of crushing that final boss. Whenever Justice is gaming, she is one with the universe. Is it safe to say she likes video gaming? She wasn't even playing video games, but sure. I was trying to get her husband to play video games, not her. Play game. He has so many happy moodlets. Oh, she is messing it all up.
Meshka.
Let's see. Let's work hard. I really appreciate everyone that came to the stream today. Thank you. I'm about to wrap up as soon as Justice finishes her stuff. You, baby, what do you need? Nothing. I should probably get you some kids' toys so that you are not lonely and sad. Oh, a nightlight. A little car. We can get you a classic of Blarfy. Make it pink too. Oh, that was expensive. Hug, talk, and play. She's thinking about her mama. She wants to tell a knock-knock joke and watch her. Wait, what's this? And she wants to go potty. Wake up. Your daughter needs to go potty. Potty train Lyric. Lyric is such a cute name. I can't believe how adorable it is. I'm glad the game came up with it immediately. Oh, why is she sad? Oh, for Mama not being there. That's so sad. Okay, help her go potty. There we go. Gonna take a bit, but you'll be able to finish soon. Ooh, I wonder what happened in the neighborhood. She's gonna make a mess. What a darling little girl. Oh, she's sad because she had a potty accident. Oh no. Sleepy time. I'm going to check what happened in the neighborhood. A baby was adopted by the Calientes. Judith and Darump are expecting a baby. Alec Devine of the Trio household has started a job as a redacted in the villain career. Ooh, that's perfect. That's my OC. Minerva Charm of the Charm family retired from her job as a goldfish hunter. They adopted a baby. Expecting a baby. Lots of babies. Pixel Borg started a household... she's a freelance artist in the artist career. Oh, sentiment gained. Oh, that's really cute. I need to check this more. Nothing of note has happened. Okay, good to know. Okay, I gotta take my brother places. Bye, everyone. Let me